Psychological warfare to scare and mislead has become a major arena in the Israel-Hamas war. On Tuesday, the Al-Quds Brigades, the armed wing of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad movement, released a video of two male Israeli hostages pleading for their release. The two men identified themselves as Gadi Moses and Elad Kadzir and called for intensified efforts to reunite them with their families. In the clip, hostage Gadi Moses is heard saying, "We are dying every moment. We are in an unbearable situation." The two men were both unshaven and appeared to have lost weight. Moses is a farmer aged about 79, captured from a kibbutz on October 7th when Hamas militants attacked southern Israel. Kadzir, who is around 47, was also taken from a kibbutz along with his mother, who was later released. Now, according to media reports, his father was killed. On Monday, Hamas released a short video showing three other elderly Israeli hostages. Tel Aviv denounced it as a criminal terrorist video.
הסרטון שחמאס שחרר בשעה האחרונה הוא סרטון טרור נפשע. הוא מעיד על האכזריות של חמאס כלפי אזרחים מבוגרים מאוד, חפים מפשע, שזקוקים לטיפול רפואי. העולם חייב לפעול להעברת סיוע רפואי ולוודא את מצבם של החטופים. עלינו מוטלת החובה המוסרית לעשות הכל בכל המאמצים על מנת להשיב את החטופים הביתה. ליבנו עם כל החטופים ומשפחותיהם בכל רגע.
When it comes to psychological warfare, Hamas, an ideologically driven Islamist terror organization, has used several tactics. The Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs says Hamas members manipulate the victims' plight to garner support from world opinion. When facing a stronger force like Israel, this strategy, also known as psychological asymmetry, it has allowed Hamas to take actions that can be classified as war crimes. Taking cover under a blitz of distorted information, it focuses on Israel as the guilty party. Israeli officers are also pointing to Hamas's psychological games and say the military campaign would help end the captive crisis. Even in October, when Hamas released a video showing three women hostages, Netanyahu dubbed it a cruel propaganda. Analysts say the release of hostages by Hamas had all the underpinnings of psychological thriller. There was a mixture of suspense and horror, followed by relief and emotional scenes of relatives reunited, some of whom learned for the first time that their other loved ones were still in captivity or had been murdered. During the temporary truce, Hamas militants also delayed the release of hostages. The aim? Well, to increase the anxiety in the minds of Israelis. Families of those to be released were kept waiting to welcome them home amid a flurry of reports on what was happening. Our correspondent Jody Cohen has sent us this report from Tel Aviv. Listen in.
Behind me you can see tents where some relatives of the 129 remaining hostages are camping outside Israel's defense ministry. Their aim is to keep the hostages top of the agenda, and in the latest, Israel's ambassador to the US, Mike Herzog, has said that Israel is willing to pause the fighting for a hostage release deal and that the ball is now in Hamas's court. Meanwhile, the UN security resolution on the war has been delayed yet again as the US is seeking to amend the wording to reportedly call for a suspension of hostilities rather than a ceasefire and to explicitly condemn Hamas. According to a report, the US would like to see the high-intensity fighting end by the start of January, and Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has said that as the military goals are achieved in each area, Israel would move on to the next phase. However, both Israel and the US are clear that the fighting ultimately, at whatever level, would end with the end of Hamas in Gaza. This is Jody Cohen for WION World as One.